What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Fred VanVleet of the Houston Rockets should get at least, in my opinion, a 10-game suspension for what he did last night in that horrible loss to Portland Trailblazers. Right? As has been the norm so far this year, Fred VanVleet had a bad game. Didn't get to the foul line. And chucked up a terrible desperation, flailing three-point attempt, trying to draw a foul. In that instance, the refs did the right thing, didn't make a call, and he went off. Pointed to the officials, called each one of them a B. But what he really went over the crossing line is when he went to one particular official and pointed his finger, I think either in the side of his head or in his eye, one of the two. That's why the official is sort of drawn away from Fred VanVleet in this steal, because Fred VanVleet put his finger in his head or to his head or to his eye, like basically like, you know, that's what the term would be, sunning them. I'm kind of old, so I don't use all these new dang-fangled terminologies. You know, I'm kind of old school. We would have called it just straight disrespect. That's blatant disrespect. But anyway, expect a hefty fine and punishment from the NBA. And I'm all for it in this instance. But I do have something to say on top of that, too. Look, Fred VanVleet is having a horrible season. Horrible season. So far this year, he's only averaging 14.5 points per game, 39% shooting, 30.5% from three-point range. And by his standards, he's even struggling from the foul line at 79%. This guy's an 87% career free throw shooter. And I say struggling because people got to remember this guy's getting paid $40-something million a year. And I remember when I saw what he was signed for, the contract that Houston Rockets gave him, I didn't understand it because I've never thought of Fred VanVleet as an all-star, consistent all-star level player. Now, he did make the all-star game back in 2022. He averaged 20.3 points per game back when he was still playing for the Raptors. But I just never saw Fred VanVleet as that type of guy. I saw him as, at best, as, honestly, that third-level scorer on a good team. Like, Fred VanVleet can be like the third guy on a championship team. You know, kind of like the role he had when the Raptors won a championship in 2019. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how I saw him. At best, maybe second, but probably third-tier guy as far as the pecking order. I just never saw it with this dude, right? And Fred VanVleet has a long history of having issues with officials. A long history. It was just, 2 years ago, where he was fined $30,000 by the NBA for disrespecting an official. He's complained about officiating in the past. Look, I'm going to say this. To a certain degree, if it was just strictly about criticizing the officiating, I know the NBA got this cardinal rule about it, but the officiating has sucked horribly. Horribly, okay? It has sucked horribly. Bad calls, non-calls, where, the naked eye to a casual can see these fouls and they're not being called. And a lot of us suspect there's some funny business going on. You know what I'm saying? Just look at some of these Bucks games where I think at least 2 Bucks games, which was losses, probably should have been victories, especially the one with Charlotte, where it was calls. You know, and sometimes you wonder, man, now that sports betting has been legalized in a majority of states, you know, we all know the long history of officiating and underworld ties and betting and alleged rigging of games. I mean, a lot of us still have our suspicions. There's no way in hell, in my opinion, that there was only one official that was culpable and guilty of, betting and rigging games. I mean, do you really believe that? But anyway, look, there's a lot of things that we can criticize when it comes to the NBA officiating, but you don't put your hands on people, okay? You just don't do that. Now, some people might say, well, I'm being hypocritical because I took up for Joel Embiid when he allegedly, at least according to reports, put his hands on that Philadelphia Inquirer reporter. Now, I still said that was wrong, but that reporter, he crossed the line when he brought up Joel Embiid's dead brother and his infant child, and insinuated that Joel Embiid is somehow dishonoring his dead brother and his infant child by not playing well. See, when you did that, now you kind of drawing a line. You're drawing a line now. Now you're going from talking about sports to putting a person's personal life in there. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're drawing a line. And that's why, even though Joel Embiid was wrong and he got a 3-game suspension, I would have done the same thing. I'd been like, look, yeah, I'm wrong technically for what I'm doing, but I don't feel like I'm wrong, and I'm not making no apologies about it. And that's why I always say, too, some of the problems why you got people out here saying the most insane, crazy shit is because nobody's popped them in their motherfucking mouth. Nobody's checked that jaw. See, back in my day, people like that won't protect it, won't hide behind avatars on social media. People like that were out in the open. And when they did say some stupid shit like that, you crack them in their motherfucking jaw. And then they learn that they just can't say anything out their mouth. But see, now we got this society where, it's bullying. Well, yeah, okay. Physically, violence is now renounced. But now there's another violence, another form of violence, and now it's verbal. It's cyberbullying. And now the same nerds, or the people who were, bullied in their youth, are now going on social media and taking out on people behind. Well, you know what? We know how that works. But I'm going to say this too in closing, though. I wish, though, that people kept the same energy for, players cursing out refs for everybody. Because I don't know how many times I've seen, and yeah, I'm bringing them up, LeBron Ramon James curse out officials and nobody says nothing. I've seen this dude call officials a B, B-A-N, big ass ninja. I've seen him constantly call officials out their name and nobody says anything. Nothing. No fines, nothing. So that's my point, my problem, you know what I'm saying, about this whole situation. Yes, Fred VanVleet deserves a hefty fine and a suspension. But, keep it with everybody, the energy. And then another thing, we need some more consistency. We need consistency here because remember, LaMelo Ball was fined $100,000 for what he said last week, right? Which I think almost nobody was offended by that. Now, Fred VanVleet was fined $30,000 for disparaging an official 2 years ago. Now, if LaMelo Ball got fined $100,000 for what he said, don't you think Fred VanVleet's suspension should be a fine should be bigger than $100,000? I'm just saying. But I mean, basically, what Fred VanVleet did was what the old boy, the barber, did in Coming to America. Oh man, you ain't nothing like Frank Sinatra. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. But anyway, that's all I got to say about this one. Tell me what you guys think.